Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And General Alvin, great seeing you again. Enjoyed our conversation last week, and congratulations on your nomination. Thrilled that in July, the Air Force announced that Davis-Monthan has been selected as the preferred location for the Air Force Special Operations Power Projection Wing. And this is a critical step in the Air Force basing process and represents a formal decision by the Secretary to advance the transition plan on this. And this important decision allows the Air Force to modernize to meet the pacing threat from China while still retaining critical capabilities and the flexibility that's necessary to engage any threat, anywhere, anytime. And there are a series of other actions, including fleet modernization and new assets coming to Davis-Monthan as part of this transition. So, General, do I have your commitment to closely monitor this transition and the activities around it at DM to ensure that in each step in the process that it occurs in a timely manner without delay?
Senator, you absolutely have my commitment on that.
Thank you. And if you do wind up encountering any delays or identify any need for additional resources, I ask that you come to me and this committee right away. So do I have your commitment to stay in close communication with me and with the rest of the Arizona delegation in particular on the status of these activities?
Senator, you do.
Thank you. Thank you, General. And General, an area that I am very interested in and that's very important to our national defense is electronic warfare. When I flew in the first Gulf War, our ability to get ahead of our enemy in the EW spectrum was critical to our success in the air war in particular. And I believe that the Defense Department needs to focus its efforts on electronic warfare. Because now, even more so than in 1991, that's where the next war is likely to begin. And, for many years, we looked at air superiority with electronic warfare support as being central, to the way that we fight and win a war. But I think in the future, the electronic warfare superiority is going to be, more critical than ever. And so I worked on some language that's now in the defense bill to direct the Joint Chiefs and the Undersecretary for Research and Engineering to strengthen capabilities at EW ranges, like the range, the electronic proving ground at Fort Huachuca in Arizona. And this training and a new Western Range complex demo that I proposed, it's going to benefit all the services. I'm pretty sure of that. So, General, how do you intend to approach preparing the Air Force and all the services for the EW fight?
Senator, thank you very much for that question. I agree with your assessment when you mention your experience in Desert Storm. I think one would look and maybe be a bit disappointed in the progress between Desert Storm and maybe the last few years. I think we have really moved out intellectually and now conceptually, and then soon now we need to start getting on fielding the capabilities that recognize the point that you made about the centrality of electronic warfare. Associated with that, as we look at moving from the types of electronic warfare we were familiar with into now thinking about cognitive EW, those sort of things where we're actually to that next level of better understanding and needing to do it more rapidly and respond, it becomes part of the air superiority mission. It becomes even more central to it. And so therefore having the ability to do test and training on representative systems that we can develop our TTPs on in the live environment or in the virtual environment, I think will be advantageous to our Air Force Center.
Yeah, and at the electronic proving ground, because of the natural geography of the area, representative systems can operate at a much higher power level than they can in other places. Of note here, we're going to get the first Compass Call airplane here pretty soon in Arizona, the EC-37B, the new EW plane for the Air Force. We were able to add 4 additional airplanes. That'll give the Air Force about 10. I think in the future we've got to continue to evaluate whether we could need more. And then also, I think of note in my last 8 seconds here, airspace to train 4th and now fifth-generation fighters is of a premium. And as the stick gets longer, the range gets bigger. And we're going to have to look at stitching some of these ranges together. We're doing that in Arizona. We've got a demo plan here to connect Barry Goldwater with the Jackal and MOA, Jackal and Outlaw MOAs, at least for certain periods of time. We're working with the FAA on that. I'd like to have your support in making this a reality.
Senator, absolutely. Again, as the physical engagements in an actual combat get bigger, we need to understand how to better replicate that, even if not all the time, but to work with the FAA to make sure we have the ability to do that. And I certainly look forward to working with you in the future if I'm confirmed.
Thank you, General.